Stuffed potatoes are a delicious meal in themselves, and you can add many different fillings. Today I'm taking you to Greece with my stuffed potatoes with lots of oregano, delicious creamy feta and olives. I'm also going to serve it with a dill and spring onion salsa. Delicious. So first we need to cook our potatoes. So I'm using these lovely large potatoes. These are an all-purpose potato. They're great for roasting, which is what I'm doing with them, but they also boil up really well too. They go straight onto a tray, and I like to just drizzle them with just a splash of oil and a pinch of salt. Roll them around in that oil and salt, and then they go into a hot oven, quite hot, so 200 degrees, because we really want to form a lovely crust on the potatoes, and they're going to cook for about an hour. Right, while the potatoes are baking in the oven, let's make a very quick salsa to go with this. Dill and Greek food, hand in hand. So we're going to add lots of dill to our salsa, along with a couple of spring onions. So I'm going to use about 3/4 of this. We'll use the rest for a garnish. We'll take the stalks away, and I'm going to finely chop it. Now, because the potatoes are going to be super creamy, I want a salsa to be quite punchy. So the addition of this lovely zingy salsa is the perfect accompaniment. I'm also going to serve it with some fresh tomatoes on the side. So a really nice healthy dinner right here. In with our dill. So spring onions, I'm going to use almost all of it, just finely chop it. So the dark part of the spring onion and the light part. And just run your knife through the spring onions a few times so you get it as fine as possible. I don't want this to be too chunky because it is like a sauce. Okay, they can go in. And I like the addition of some capers. So again, we're just going to chop these capers. So you need about a tablespoon of capers. So that's the salty component of this. And to bring the whole thing together, some white wine vinegar, a good pinch of salt, some freshly cracked pepper, and just to bind everything together, some good quality extra virgin olive oil, a couple of tablespoons. And I'll give that a mix. And look at that pop of colour. Look how bright and vibrant that is. Perfect to go with our potatoes. All right, I'll pop that to one side. While we're waiting for the potatoes to cook, I'm just going to prepare a few other things for the filling, which is finely chopped olives and a bit of lemon zest. Right, the spuds have come out of the oven. I have allowed them to cool slightly because they're going to be piping hot when handling them. I'm going to cut them in half. You can see how paper thin the skins are. And I want to be quite gentle here because I want to keep a little casing, so a little basket for our filling to go in. So I don't want to break through the skin. So just use a dessert spoon just to carefully remove the centre, leaving about a 1 centimetre or 2 centimetre border. So taking that out, you can see that they're perfectly cooked. That goes into the bowl with our olives and our lemon zest. And what I like to do is just place them back onto the tray, and then we're going to continue with the rest of the potatoes. All right, the potato flesh is in the bowl. I will add a knob of butter to that. Also 1 egg. That's just going to help bind everything together. And a good pinch of oregano. And some feta. I'm going to add 3/4 of the feta, and the rest we're going to sprinkle over the top. So crumble that in. I don't mind if there are some big chunks in there, little chunks. I'll also add some salt, but just a small amount of salt to season the potatoes. The feta is salty enough, so just a small amount of that. And then we can mash everything together. So using a fork, really combine that egg and the olives there. It just smells fantastic. Okay, that's looking quite good. So we can start filling our potato casings. So in with some of our filling, just do it over the bowl so you can really press quite a lot of the potato back in there, like that. And that's the first one done. I will crumble the rest of the feta on top, then they go back into the oven for about 20 minutes just to warm them through. These stuffed potatoes look fantastic, caramelised on the top, and we'll just place one on a plate. And I'm going to serve this with a simple tomato salad. So we'll just cut the tomatoes into rough chunks. Of course, with this being a Greek-inspired dish, you could make a Greek salad, but I just want the tomatoes because there's a lot going on with this dill salsa. Whenever I'm serving tomatoes, always season them with salt to bring out their flavour, and a little drizzle of oil. And I'm not going to add any vinegar or anything like that to this because we've got the salsa there, so that's going to season our tomatoes too. So I'll place them next to our potato. In fact, I'm going to add another potato here because I'm feeling quite generous. And then we'll grab our salsa and we're going to drizzle that over our potatoes and our tomatoes, and some extra dill over the top because I just love it. A few little sprigs. And that is a really wholesome dinner celebrating the humble spud filled with lots of feta and olives. I've done mine as a Greek-inspired dish, but of course you could change it up, maybe make it a little Italian, add some mozzarella next time.